Hello and welcome. Today we're talking about comics, and specifically how to make money at comics and the three different ways that you can do it. And money is on my mind right now because I am doing a fundraiser for my dog. She needs surgery, so we're doing daily streams to raise funds to do it. They are commission streams, so every dollar you donate, you get 30 seconds worth of art drawn for you. You can either show up at the stream yourself, or you can check the link below to our Streamlab tips. And if you just leave a tip with a description of your character, link to them, or you can add pictures to our ComStream section of our Discord, and it will all work out for you. If you want art, that's how you do it. Thank you. Let's move on to the actual video. Sorry for the advertisement. And so, yeah, the three ways that we can make money on comics. Let's talk about it. So we have the most conventional and understandable thing, which is selling books, digital or otherwise. Then we have our donation-based things like Ko-fi, things like Patreon, and then we have advertisements, which, you get paid for advertisements on your work. When it comes to the first one, comic books, selling books, I feel like this is the most lucrative when it comes to actually making money off of comics. It's very direct, it makes sense. I think that some of the easiest ways to sell comics are the following, okay? There are conventions. If you get into a convention and sell at a convention, that is good, that will work. I recommend that. There is a money barrier to entry, which can be a bit of a thing, but that is one of the go-to methods to sell books. When it comes to selling on digital sales, selling on itch.io, selling on Amazon, there's a lot more marketing and stuff that goes into that, and it can be a lot more difficult to start seeing a more substantial profit. And then the final way of selling books would be crowdfunding. And I love crowdfunding. I'm a huge fan of crowdfunding. I like to think of things like Kickstarter, Indiegogo, whatever platform you choose. They have a very social media type feel to them. And the more that you do, if you start with small projects on there, you start to build an audience on your Kickstarter site. I focus on doing very small runs of comics a lot of the times, unless I'm doing an anthology, which is a lot bigger. But something like $1,000 Kickstarter is not as daunting as you think it would be. A lot of the times, what I will do is even looking at things at print on demand, small digital runs of comics, even 100 books, it is very cheap to do so. There's a lot of barriers to entry, a lot that you have to figure out, understand shipping, and it is daunting, but I assure you that crowdfunding, Kickstarter, they're very doable, they're approachable. The biggest caveat is to make sure you understand how much money you need and don't undershoot that cost. Make sure that you calculate your shipping so that you understand exactly how much you will need to ship out that many books. Make sure you have your print quotes perfectly done. Make sure that you understand your taxes. Make sure you understand the price that Kickstarter will take out. Get a mathy friend to help you with this. But Kickstarters are doable, and there is a lot of promotion that happens on the Kickstarter website that can start getting your comic out to people. I'd recommend starting with Black and White. And yeah, this is the reason that I tend to focus on making comics that aren't vertical, is just because print is a very accessible way to sell your comic and reach audiences. And the thing is, you don't need to reach a large audience, you just need to reach enough. It only takes me about 50 supporters to do my Books of Avo print runs on Kickstarter, and I have a great time and I make a surplus of books that I can sell. So that is why I like Kickstarter, and that's why I like physical books. People love physical books, and it's how I sell a lot of my non-physical digital, that's what it's called, digital books. I'm not huge on Amazon. I don't love Amazon. I don't want to be on Amazon. I think you can make a lot of money on Amazon on those sites if you understand how to do like SEO and all of that, but I just do not care to be on Amazon. I like to be on itch.io. That's where I do a lot of my digital sales. I want to move off of Etsy, but I'm just making a slow transition through that. And yeah, like I love itch.io because people can like tip and add extra, and I just like the audience there, and I just like the practices of the site personally. I shoot myself in the foot a lot when it comes to money, just because like I just have certain ick factors on various websites, but that's a me problem. You can do whatever you want and expand your reach where you can. A lot of my friends do that. They have a great time selling their comics in all sorts of places. The next thing to consider is not crowdfunding, but donations. So I don't make tons on this. There's a lot of people who will do Patreon early access, you know, like $3 you get early access to a week of pages. I do that on my Patreon. I have a bad track record of posting to Patreon. If you are on my Patreon, you will be linked to a Discord account where I throw all of my pages on Discord, and I mostly do that because I also do YouTube membership, so I consolidate everything into one place. So if you're a YouTube member at the Comic Access tier or a Patreon member at the Comic Access tier, I just have a few channels where I post everything early. So as soon as I finish comic pages early, you can read them on the Discord. Currently, the Magpie is 7 months ahead on the Discord feed, and Scourge of Ninepoint is like 1 page ahead, yeah, at most, because I've fallen a bit behind. Avo is like a few weeks ahead, but basically that's where everything gets posted. It gets posted to my Discord. The reason that I chose Patreon over Ko-fi is just because I started Patreon years ago, and I still have the founders account, which has a very good percentage taken out of it compared to Ko-fi, so I'm kind of stuck on Patreon. I like the aspect that you can do gifted patrons and free memberships. I think those are really cool. That works well with kind of like what I'm doing personally, but like mileage may vary because obviously I'm also a YouTuber. I've never had a lot of success on Patreon before YouTube. I focus mostly on YouTube perks. I have my Discord. There can be a lot of extra stuff to manage with a Patreon, but I do think it is sustainable for a lot of people. For me, I tend to do Kickstarter campaigns more than I do Patreon campaigns because it's a lot easier to get people to sign up one time versus getting people to agree to like a subscription based thing. And in the case with like the Books of Avo, I do a Kickstarter every few months because like the books come out so fast, and it does similar numbers to like a Patreon if I was doing like one of those Patreon tiers where like you're actually shipping things out. It's kind of like doing that, but I prefer it on Kickstarter. The thing about Kickstarter is that it's easier to get people excited for like a short period of time. It's a crowdfunding. Everyone gets together to reach a goal. Whereas with memberships and stuff like that, it is something that you're building consistently. It's one by one sales. It's not like a really quick, like everyone gather together and help fundraise this thing. And yeah, so that is my thoughts on that. And finally, there's advertisement. And advertisement used to be a lot bigger. I feel like you get gated out of advertisement a lot more. Back in the day, Tapas had a good ad program. I don't understand how to get into like an ad program with something like Webtoon. When it comes to Comic Fury, you can use advertisement on Comic Fury. You would just need to go through like Google or another third-party advertising platform and just add that to your site. You won't get tons out of that if you're not doing tons of numbers. For me, one of my best advertising, the best I've done at advertising is actually on YouTube, because recently I've started posting comics onto YouTube with like Ursula narrating them, specifically the Books of Avo, because the Books of Avo already got published as a audiobook. So I've been putting it on YouTube together, and like that is like regular YouTube advertising money, which is so much better than anything else, honestly. I don't need as many views to make like a few dollars here and there. I basically, posting for free on YouTube has done more for me than Audible ever has when it comes to my audiobooks. So that's why I do that. That's why I post for free, because the advertising money is just so much better than having to figure out how to make money on Audible, because you make so little money on Audible unless you're selling tons of books. It's like a give or take thing, obviously, right? But like advertising like is just so much harder than it used to be. Like we don't have things like Project Wonderful anymore. So if you want to do advertisements, you kind of have to do your own site, or you can use Comic Fury and add onto that, and you're gonna make very, very little, just so you're warned, and just so you are aware of this. But yeah, that is that. Those are the 3 ways that you can make money on comics. Obviously there's so many more nuances to everything, but I thought I would just give kind of like an overview of my experiences with the 3 different things. Thank you so much for listening and tuning in to another video for me, or your first one. If this is your first one, I do so many more videos talking about comics. And yeah, I love comics, and I'm sorry that there's not so much money in them. You usually are going to make money in stuff that is adjacent to comics, okay? You're going to make money at merch. You're going to make money at a day job. You're going to make money doing commissions. It's all of these like side periphery things. Like teaching comics, that's a good one. That's my niche. But the actual making money on the actual comics is a very, 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 very difficult thing. The other thing you can look into is working with like publishers and things, but that feels like day job stuff to me. But like it could be something that you're into. A lot of my friends do that stuff, getting jobs in comics, but that's not really what I'm talking about here. So thank you for listening. I will see you guys in the next one, or I will see you at the next of my streams. Thank you so much for watching. All right, goodbye.